right? So that's why this week we're doing goal setting. So it's nice to refresh things halfway through the year. A lot of times we forget about things after the new year when resolutions and goals are on our mind, kind of slips through the cracks come this time of year. And then we just say, oh, we'll just wait till next year. So that's kind of the point. But before diving into our topic for today, we've also been this year implementing guest speakers that get to share their testimony. Actually, Brandon and Michelle have been guest speakers. So
You're in good company.
Alex is going to be our speaker today. So she's going to get to share her experience with chiropractic, and we'll just give you the floor. Yeah, exactly. So you can either sit or stand, whatever's comfortable for you.
So this is a small group. And yeah, so this is my first time sharing, but I've been coming here for about like 5 to 6 months now, and like kind of in the theme of goal setting. One of my goals for the year was to get back into the gym, and I've had lower back pain like off and on my entire life since high school, and it was stopping me from doing a lot of different exercises without pain. So I came in here and it's like, hey, that's one of my main goals. And so with like the 3 sessions a week, it was a lot of help, and I was able to get back into the gym. And then as I started ramping that up, of course, like I ended up with some pain over the weekend, but came back in, and it's you know, they've been a great help yesterday getting me adjusted. I'll come in tomorrow and Friday, just kind of adjusting that way so that I can keep up with my goals of just staying consistent in the gym. And one of the things that's helped a lot is just actually been tracking my progress every week. I feel like that's always the biggest thing that stops me from actually making any kind of progress, is I feel like I don't see the progress right away. And so every week in the gym, I track my workout and just want to make sure, like maybe I just do 1 rep more for the day, or I bump up the weight on 1 exercise for the day, and just being able to see that progress like keeps me working toward my goal. So I've been thankful, even though I have to take a pause this week on everything while my back gets better. I've been really thankful for chiropractic care to really help get me back in the gym. So,
Thanks, Alex.
You guys are open on Friday?
We are Friday morning.
Yeah, Friday morning power hours. So,
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
a small intimate group tonight. So you know how I always like to make things interactive. So I know Kate, you're on virtually, and if anybody else joins virtually as well. So today, hence the screen, pen and paper are necessary. So we're going to get into a lot of the statistics side of things, and then be able to do an activity that's going to help you actually implement some more goals and be able to stick to them, because writing them down, spoiler alert, is better for you than just thinking about your goals. Okay. So what made you guys want to do this class? I always like to ask that first.
Honestly, don't think that I'm great big picture.
Okay.
So I mean, like day to day, I'm very task oriented and stuff, but I don't think I'm great at staying focused on big picture.
Okay.
You don't want my real answer.
I do want your real answer.
Less people.
Okay. That's fine too. Smaller workshop, more intimate setting, get more one-on-one. So, great. Okay, so we'll dive in. The real question is it worthwhile setting goals, right? How many of you actually will achieve goals that you set? And so 84% of people actually don't set goals. So if you set goals, you're within the few, which is good. And then 13% of all people set goals but do not actually achieve them. And then 3% of all people that set goals actually achieve them. Okay. And one of the biggest things is that 20% more people are successful at accomplishing goals when you do write them down. So that's, again, why we have pen and paper in our hands. And then those who set actionable tasks for the goals and initiate weekly progress reports tend to achieve 40% more of their goals. So that plays right into what Alex was talking about for before she left about setting the goals, tracking the goals, and really being able to see the progress and celebrate the progress is just as important, because again, you can see the final destination, but you need to set goals along the way and celebrate each of those goals so that you ultimately get to that final big picture vision of what you're looking for. Okay. So by definition, the process of identifying something that you want to accomplish and establish measurable objectives and timeframes to help you achieve it. And then when you learn how to set goals in one area of your life, it actually becomes easier to set them in other areas. So starting with something easy could be the tasks day-to-day living, whereas a lot of times financial goals tend to be a little bit more challenging, for example. But if you start to set really good groundwork and foundations for the easier goals that you set in your life, then when it comes to more complicated topics, then that tends to be easier once you already have a routine and structure in place. Okay. And then setting progressive goals that allow small wins, help you move on to the larger achievements like we just talked about. And then those small goals lead to progress, which is the only thing that you really need to be able to feel fulfilled and happy. So a lot of times we can get disappointed with ourselves or feel very negative about certain things if we don't hit our goals, which is why they need to be achievable to begin with and realistic at the same time. And that those smaller goals that magnify into the big goal that you're looking for is what you have to set first. You can't just be like, this is my big goal, and then be disappointed when you don't reach it. Questions about any of that so far? Makes sense, right? So I really like this visual then, because a lot of times we think about goals and we just clump all of this into one thing. However, your goals start as thoughts, right? So you have to think something before you can ever really think of a goal that you want to set. And then your goals actually lead to your vision, which then lead to your dreams. So they're all connected. So we have this dream, even as children, we dream about what we want to be when we grow up, right? But in order to get to that point, you have to have a vision, you have to have goals, and you have to have thought about it. So we all go through this process without even really realizing it. And we think that it's all synonymous within each other, when it's really important to really break it down. So like how you mentioned, Michelle, we're able to get to that big picture, which is the ultimate dream that we're looking for. Okay. So how do we have effective goal setting? Before you read this list, when you guys set goals, what kind of things do you look for? Or what do you do when you go about setting a goal?
Develop a phasing model, timelines, look for empirical evidence, and take the antithetical approach to the goal to see the potential flaws.
Great.
I was gonna say, I think you or Alex, I think you already touched on it though, but like achievability.
Yeah.
I don't wanna, disappoint myself or fall back or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Small
Absolutely.
goals.
Great. So a list of 10 that ways to set effective goals is to believe in the process, number one. So actually trusting in the fact that taking the time to set goals is worthwhile. Write it down. Be very specific in your goal setting. So specific to the timeline, to the specific quantity, quality, all of those things is going to really help you specifically achieve those small goals along the way and set different goals that lead up to something. So starting small, as in like, let's just say your goal is that you want to be able to devote 1 hour of uninterrupted time with your family, something along those lines. So start with my very specific goal of if 10 minutes is something that you can do, and then go up in 10-minute intervals as your small goals to get to that 1 hour goal. So just as an example for being specific. Make them measurable, so that kind of goes along that as well. So specificity along the measurements, and then be sure that they're attainable and realistic, make it timely. So have that timeline in mind as in, I'm going to reach that 1 hour of quality time within the month. And then be able to remain accountable. So a lot of times it's good to tell people what your goals are. A lot of times people are kind of self-conscious about their goals, or they're embarrassed if they don't hit their goals, so they want to keep it to themselves. But that accountability is actually what's going to keep you in line to set and reach those goals that you have, because somebody can check in on you. But it is important to note that you want to pick the right person to hold you accountable, so that it doesn't make you feel bad if you don't hit the goal when you're supposed to, but that they encourage you to keep going, and that just because you didn't hit the timeline doesn't mean that you just give up on the goal completely. Okay. Don't be afraid to ask for help. So that goes alongside with that accountability as well, and then continually be able to assess your progress along the way. So we're going to put that into play with our activities. So that's why we have the paper and pen. So what you're going to do first is you're going to brainstorm. So I want you to each make a list of anything that you want to achieve, anything that you want to create, do, have, give, experience in the next 20 years. So we're going to start with the brainstorming first. Don't really read into the rest of it because we'll go alongside that afterwards. But focus on the brainstorming within the next 20 years, what you really want to be able to accomplish. A few minutes to work on that. Come up with more, you can add to this list. We're just going to start the process moving forward. So with what you do have, what I want you to do now is go through that list and be able to write 1, 3, 5, 10, or 20 next to each of them, meaning how likely within the year, 3 years, 5 years, what type of goal is it? Is it something that you can achieve in the year? Is it a 20-year goal? Is it a 5-year goal? So write a 1, 3, 5, 10, or 20 next to each of your items that you listed as goals already. And hopefully you each have at least a 1-year goal that's on there. If you don't, just whichever one is the quickest. So if you had a 3 or a 5. But if you have a top 1-year goal, what we want you to do now is take the time to write a paragraph as to why you can achieve that goal within the year. So again, be very specific in why that would be achievable for you within that year. And making note of the progress of how you can check in on yourself within the 12 months.
Is she okay?
She's fine. I saved the iPad. Kate's fine.
Loud noise, gonna rupture her eardrum.
And then if you haven't already addressed it within that paragraph, but really taking into account the SMART goals that everybody talks about in school, but making sure, like we talked about already, is it specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and is there a specific time frame for that goal that we talked about? So if you haven't already touched on that in the paragraph, make sure that those 5 things are mentioned. Anybody want to share their goals with us? Go for it, Margaret.
Well, these can all be under a year, but up to a year. So I just would like to, just be a little bit more healthier and cut like certain things out. And also I have like 2 that were over here. And then kind of switch like to all natural meds. Like I've been talking to Sarah a lot with the whole and so she's found some things within my problems that pharmaceutical medicine. I'll be making that switch soon.
What?
Want to hear your goals?
Which one? The 5-year one? The shortest one, right?
Yeah.
Overhaul antiquated house projects. 5-year plan. Identify funding and allotments for it. So we've got to exhaustivate that. ID phasing model for projects, time and space analysis, especially with my wife being a teacher. Do the projects in the summer. Allows me to work while she's off and can watch the contractors. No paralysis, act on the op plan, no second guesses. And when there's sales on materials, you buy when it's cheap. It's smart because it's specific. It's something I can measure based off my phasing model. It is achievable based off time space analysis. What is the R? Reality, it's realistic to do because it's tangible items. And based off the time, depending on the project and sale and the contractor, it all can line up.
I love that you,
Very good example.
I love that you didn't even mention like the like increasing the value of your home. Like it was just like all for you and your heart.
Well, I don't
Love
want to be
that.
greedy and say.
Well,
I'm
I
trying
just
to-
noticed, of course, we all know it's going to increase the value of your home, but I just noticed that you didn't mention that. So I liked that.
I'm an egalitarian, utopian believer.
Britt.
To share, Michelle.
Yeah,
Like, you don't
that's kind of like along this, I mean, like personally, I guess my year goal is to get healthy and stronger. And I felt like, well, we had a house fire before that. I felt like it was a pretty good exercise routine, but definitely that and eating, all of that's gone out the door for a while. So I do feel like the last couple of weeks, like, I've been able to get back into yoga at home and walking and that type of thing. And my daughter's really into fitness. She weightlifts, so I've actually got a gym membership with her. So she's holding me accountable for those types of things. So that was good. Everything down, but that's kind of where I am. But
Yeah.
with my short term.
No, great. And that's what the point of this activity is so that you can realize like, okay, this is my goal. And then you can take it home. I encourage you to take it home and spend the time to actually go ahead and make the smaller goals and make it more measurable and specific. It's not something like in the 5 minutes that I gave you that I expected you to be able to be very diligent about it. But that was a great example that Brandon gave. That was a specific example so that you guys can go off of that to be able to achieve what you have set as far as your health goals then as well. Did Kate want to share?
You don't have to.
She's part of it.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
My house is kind of chaotic. I have a 2-year-old, so she's. So mine is, I see it. Mine is to get as close to pain-free living as reasonably possible within the next year by maintaining regular fitness and wellness routines and eating well. And then finding ways to prioritize myself daily, which is really hard to do. My husband is active duty military and I work full-time, more than full-time, and it's just hard. So I've dealt with pain for a long time, and I think that's what brought me to chiropractic in the first place. And then I also am in remission from having cancer last year. So I think just the whole like concept of health has become really starkly important for me. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, thank you for sharing. That's definitely applaud you for getting on here and engaging with us. That's a step even for your self-care to be able to devote this half an hour to, even if you have a little one with you, but being able to still participate and take away something from the workshop. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
It was wonderful. So like I mentioned, it's not something that within this activity that I expect you to be able to pinpoint everything from this second, but it is a really good reminder to be able to redo this and reassess the goals that you have mid-year, if not even quarterly, because when you set the goals at the beginning of the year and then you just are like, oh, like then at the end of the year, like, did I reach those goals? I don't know. That's not a really good measurement of if you accomplished what you really wanted to achieve. And then sometimes you do accomplish your goals, and it's really important to set the next level so that you're not just in this stagnant state or that it leads you to the ability to regress. So to be able to focus on, just like with chiropractic care, how we talk about your initial care phase to then that maintenance phase to then wellness. It's an ongoing process that gets you to this dream of wellness care where you are maintaining things and having it be a creative life or complete lifestyle change for you regarding your health. And that's true in any aspect of the different areas that you guys have all shared with your goals, is that, yes, I want you to achieve those within the year or 5 years that you talked about, but what comes next? And if you achieve it within 8 months of the 12 months, what's the next 4 months look like, rather than just being stagnant for those 4 months and then reassessing the next year. So being able to really keep tabs on them and continually set new goals for yourself is what's going to help you really achieve and sustain what you're looking for in your goals. Okay. And it is also important to note that there's 365 days in a year, and that means there's 365 days to start again. So you don't have to be like, oh, I didn't go to the gym this week and it's Thursday, I guess I'll just go Monday. Like you don't have to just give up and start on a Monday because you missed 2 days or something like that. Like you can go Thursday or you can go Friday. Like you don't have to start on a Monday or start next month or start next year. Usually people are like, oh, I'll just start next month because I didn't do it well this year or this month. But any day is a day that you can start over. People fall off the wagon all of the time with their goals, but what is really important is the ability to get back on and continue moving forward, not be super harsh and judgmental on yourself because everybody goes through it. We all struggle with it. So really creating those different habits for yourself is also really important. A really good book, if you haven't read it, is Atomic Habits. It really helps you be able to create those habits that you're looking for to be able to hit any goal that you want. So we've read that in the office as a book club before with the team. So that would be a really good recommendation if you're really wanting to take the next steps with your goal setting. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they would like to add?
No.
Great. Well, I appreciate you all being here and taking participation in tonight's activity. Take those sheets home with you or throw them away. I would like for you to take them home with you.
Take them to my car.
And be able to keep track of them as well. Journaling is really going to be important for you guys if you want to keep up with this. I won't be the person that holds you accountable in the sense that I'll bring it up every time. I appreciate you at least sharing and going along with it, but I do encourage you to find that somebody that is going to be your accountability person for these goals that you guys have set for yourselves. Wonderful. And we would love to say hi to June too, because Claire has been watching you guys. So thanks for joining us on there.
June, can you say hi?
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for coming, everyone, and we will see you at your next appointment.
All right. See you next Monday.